congratulations. The movie was amazing.
Thank you.
There were tears in the audience.
Amazing.
I heard there were even tears on set.
This really is about her wanting to have control of the movie.
This is like the most high school fight that...
Blake Lively just made a shocking legal move that has everyone asking, is Hollywood's golden girl hiding something, or is she secretly fighting back against a plot to ruin her? The deeper you look, the stranger this story gets. No one saw it coming. Not fans, not creators, not even the internet's most dialed-in drama accounts. Blake Lively, the A-list actress best known for her ultra-private lifestyle and nearly flawless public image, suddenly launched a behind-the-scenes legal campaign that blindsided everyone. Without warning, a series of official subpoenas started rolling out. Not to tabloids or gossip blogs, but to regular content creators on YouTube, TikTok, and Twitter.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room. The smear campaign. Was it organic? Was it planted? The common theme from pro-Blake.
And these weren't vague legal notices or standard takedown requests. They were full-blown federal subpoenas demanding sensitive personal data. Creators received notices from Google stating that Blake's legal team had formally requested access to everything, from full names and phone numbers to backup email accounts, IP logs, and even banking and payment information. Some were accused of absolutely nothing. Others had only mentioned Blake in a video or post, sometimes just once, sometimes not even critically. And yet, they were being treated like potential suspects in a serious investigation. One moment, these creators were just doing what they always do.
Real victim. The real victim is Justin and the others, and it's because they've been wrongfully accused. And
sharing opinions, reacting to celebrity news, covering trending stories. The next, they were staring at a legal document from one of the biggest tech companies in the world, telling them Blake Lively wanted to unmask their entire online identity. What made it even weirder was the randomness. We're not talking about massive media empires or viral influencers with millions of followers. Some of the creators Blake targeted had small, niche audiences. No history of targeting her. No obvious agenda. Nothing that would justify a subpoena that could expose their private lives to a team of Hollywood lawyers. Naturally, the internet went into a frenzy.
So I just came off of watching Without a Crystal Ball's video. I don't often...
Why would Blake, a celebrity known for staying out of messy press, suddenly come after small creators with this kind of intensity? Why ask for banking details? And why now? Some people thought it was a mistake. Others assumed her team was overreaching. But many started to wonder, was there a deeper reason behind this sudden legal ambush? Was Blake trying to silence criticism, or was she trying to prove something much bigger? At first glance, the subpoenas made no sense. Why would Blake Lively, someone with no history of public scandals, suddenly demand the private information of random internet creators? The answer, as it turns out, was buried under layers of legal strategy and personal tension.
Did Blake Lively's legal team just subpoena you over a YouTube video? Hey everyone, that sounds like a crazy question, but it's...
Because this wasn't about a few gossip videos. This was about a much deeper war unfolding behind the scenes, one that pointed directly at Justin Baldoni. According to emerging court documents, Blake wasn't trying to silence creators. She was allegedly trying to trace a smear campaign, one she believes was orchestrated by Baldoni or someone on his team. Yes, that Justin Baldoni, the actor, producer, and her co-star in the upcoming film adaptation of It Ends With Us. The two were supposed to be working together, but something clearly went wrong. The heart of Blake's legal team's theory, that someone connected to Justin had been quietly reaching out to online personalities, encouraging them to make negative content about her.
Okay, today has been absolutely insane, but while I was going live on my show today over on YouTube...
And these subpoenas, they were the breadcrumbs. Blake's lawyers were attempting to follow the digital trail, hoping to uncover whether creators had been contacted, paid, or influenced in any way to push out damaging narratives. And the goal wasn't just to expose random gossip. It was to build a case of retaliation. Blake's team believed that once she pushed back on Justin's alleged misconduct on set, a campaign was launched to discredit her, frame her as difficult, and manipulate public perception, all while keeping Justin's name clean. It sounds wild, like a plot from a courtroom drama. But the legal filings were real, the subpoenas were real, and the idea that a popular Hollywood actor might be pulling strings behind the curtain to protect his image.
Lily's old blog, Preserve, has some extremely creepy posts, and this is the same blog that glorified the
was starting to feel a lot more plausible. Still, the approach Blake took, targeting small creators without warning, didn't sit right with people. It felt aggressive, misdirected, even invasive. Creators who had nothing to do with any campaign were being caught in the blast radius of a much larger war. If Blake Lively thought these creators would quietly comply, she was wrong. Instead of staying silent, several of the subpoenaed creators pushed back. Hard. What started as legal intimidation quickly turned into a public outcry. Independent YouTubers, small commentary accounts, and even casual creators.
Blake Lively's in The Devil Wears Prada 2. I like all.
Ladies and gents,
who had barely mentioned Blake in passing, suddenly found themselves at the center of a legal circus they never asked to join. And they weren't having it. Some creators, like Cassidy O'Connell and Mackenzie Folks, chose to take the legal route, filing formal motions to quash the subpoenas. These aren't simple emails to a court. They're expensive, public legal filings that take time, money, and lawyers. But the message they sent was loud and clear. This isn't just unfair, it's dangerous. Cassidy didn't hold back, calling Blake's subpoena a witch hunt and accusing her team of trying to intimidate small creators under the guise of fact-finding. Mackenzie echoed those concerns, saying the demands were unduly burdensome.
Blake Lively's subpoenas to content creators has been confirmed to be 100% real. Lauren also
and felt like a scare tactic to silence voices that weren't even spreading falsehoods. Others, like the creator behind Spill Sesh, tried a more direct path, engaging with Blake's team behind the scenes, hoping to resolve things without going to court. Even fans and fellow influencers began to rally behind the targeted creators. Comment sections lit up with questions like, why is Blake coming for these people? What happened to free speech? Why go after commentary when there are entire media outlets doing the same thing? The situation spiraled quickly. What may have started as a calculated legal move to gather information suddenly looked like a PR disaster.
Hello there, Perez here. You might have seen the recent
Instead of protecting her image, Blake was now being painted as the aggressor. Someone using her power to stomp out criticism from creators who couldn't afford to fight back. And in that chaos, as public pressure built and headlines started circulating, Blake's team made a sudden move that shifted everything. Just as the outrage began boiling over, Blake Lively's team hit reverse. In a move that shocked both fans and legal analysts, the subpoenas were suddenly withdrawn. One by one, creators who had been bracing themselves for a drawn-out legal nightmare received short, almost sterile notices from Google and other platforms. The subpoena pertaining to your account has been withdrawn. That was it. No explanation, no apology, no further contact.
As quickly as possible. Our clients are devastated and want to move.
For creators like Spill Sesh, who had been in direct communication with Blake's lawyers, the relief was immediate. But the confusion only deepened. Had her legal team gotten what they wanted? Had public pressure forced their hand? Or did they realize they were overreaching and retreat before more damage could be done? Public records later revealed that Blake's legal team cited no further information required as their reason for withdrawing the subpoenas. They insisted it wasn't about silencing anyone, but simply part of a broader evidence-gathering process in their lawsuit against Justin Baldoni. A spokesperson emphasized that subpoenas aren't accusations. They're tools. But for the people targeted, it didn't feel that simple.
I've received a subpoena notice from Google as well, and I don't know how I missed it. It was sent on Thursday today.
Because whether or not it was meant to be threatening, that's exactly how it landed. And pulling back the subpoenas without addressing the backlash left a bad taste. To some, it felt like Blake's team had used a legal scare tactic, realized it had backfired, and quietly tried to walk away before it blew up further. Still, not everyone was satisfied. Creators like Cassidy O'Connell went on record calling the entire ordeal a clear misuse of legal power. She wasn't wrong. The subpoenas asked for personal, sensitive data, far beyond what most lawsuits require, and even after they were dropped, the implications lingered. What kind of precedent did this set? Could other celebrities try the same thing?
Are you going to sue Blake Lively too?
Into oblivion, Megan. Wait till you see this lawsuit. It's all going to be based on evidence. It's not going to...
But while Blake may have backed off, for now, the storm was far from over. Because her legal battle with Justin Baldoni, that was just beginning to heat up. The withdrawn subpoenas were only the surface. Underneath was a legal war that had been simmering quietly, and it all exploded when the full scope of Blake Lively's lawsuit against Justin Baldoni came to light. In a move that stunned Hollywood insiders, Blake accused Justin, her co-star and producer on the upcoming film It Ends With Us, of deeply inappropriate behavior during production. And these weren't vague allegations. They were specific, disturbing, and painted a picture of a professional relationship that had spiraled into something far more toxic.
Latest on Blake and Justin, Brian Friedman has released a statement. Here it is. The court's decision on the motion to dismiss.
According to court filings, Blake claimed Justin improvised kissing scenes without consent, scenes that were never scripted and never discussed. She alleged that he pressured her to watch sexually suggestive content unrelated to the film, and even entered her trailer without permission while she was undressed. Each detail was more invasive than the last, suggesting a clear pattern of boundary-crossing behavior that she had tried to address and was allegedly punished for. But it didn't stop there. Blake's lawsuit went on to claim that when she pushed back, Justin retaliated, not with direct threats, but with something more insidious. A coordinated PR campaign to destroy her reputation.
He was leading the deposition and he said something or ruffled some feathers some way he shouldn't have, and
she believed that once she refused to tolerate his behavior, someone on his team began planting stories, manipulating online narratives, and possibly even encouraging content creators to discredit her subtly through independent commentary. This, she said, was why the subpoenas were issued, to trace the roots of that campaign and find out if creators were unknowingly being used as pawns in a much larger plan. It wasn't just a legal dispute anymore, it was a full-blown scandal, one that threatened to expose how easily public perception can be shaped behind the scenes. And if Blake's claims were true, this wasn't just about her. It was about the systemic silencing of women in entertainment.
What about the platforms? Hey everyone, I wonder why Blake Lively and her team haven't done more to draw attention to the problematic nature of social media.
The abuse of power on film sets and how influence can be weaponized in the digital age. But perhaps the most jaw-dropping moment of all was still to come. When it came time for Blake Lively to testify under oath, the tension was already sky high. Her legal team had fought hard to keep the setting private, away from paparazzi, away from media, away from cameras. They didn't want a courtroom circus. They wanted her deposition to happen behind closed doors, inside her attorney's office, with as little exposure as possible. The judge agreed. But even with the lights dimmed and the press held at bay, someone else showed up. Justin Baldoni, in a move that blindsided nearly everyone.
Everyone, this is not smart. In response to Blake Lively saying that she...
Justin appeared in person to sit in on Blake's deposition. He had every legal right to be there, but the decision felt bold, calculated, even confrontational. This wasn't just a formality. It was face-to-face tension with everything at stake. Picture the room. Blake seated beside her lawyers, a court reporter documenting every word, a videographer recording every moment, and across from her, the man she was accusing of harassment, retaliation, and orchestrating an online campaign against her. No cameras, no audience, just lawyers, silence, and legal warfare behind closed doors. Reports say Blake's team was rattled. And how could they not be?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it seems that evil has once again prevailed because a federal judge has just officially thrown.
The man she said violated her boundaries was now watching her relive those moments in detail. There was no public statement from her that day, no social media update. But online, people were talking, speculating, imagining what must have gone down in that room. Justin's team had reportedly wanted the deposition live streamed. Blake's team said absolutely not. And that clash alone revealed just how differently both sides were playing the game. Blake wanted to protect her privacy. Justin seemed to want the world watching. What Blake said in that deposition is still under wraps. The footage may never see the light of day.
Okay, so I literally don't care what you're doing right now. If you're driving, pull over. If you're at a funeral, go home. Because I have some earth-shattering
But the mere fact that Justin sat across from her, silent, listening, present, added a layer of psychological pressure that no one could ignore. And for many, that moment symbolized everything wrong with power dynamics in Hollywood. A woman accused a powerful man of misconduct, and instead of disappearing, he showed up, front row, stone-faced, watching her speak. By this point, it was clear this wasn't just a celebrity lawsuit. This was something deeper, messier, and far more unsettling. Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni wasn't about one uncomfortable moment on set or a misinterpreted scene. It was about control, image, and the invisible machinery that powers Hollywood from behind the curtain.
Okay, so I literally don't care what you're doing right now. If you're driving, pull over. If you're at a funeral, go home. Because I have some earth-shattering
Because here's the truth. Blake Lively doesn't need to chase headlines. She's one of the few A-list stars who's managed to avoid scandal for most of her career. No messy public feuds, no clickbait controversies. She's built her brand on privacy and professionalism. So when someone like that goes full force into legal war, risking press, pushback, and public dissection, you have to wonder, why now? What pushed her to a breaking point? That's what's really at stake. If Blake's accusations are true, then Justin Baldoni, a man publicly celebrated for being thoughtful and woke, might have been leveraging that image to hide disturbing behavior.
Blake Lively subpoenaing other creators. I'm particularly asking about Court of Random Opinion because I saw.
And if he really did attempt to discredit her using whisper campaigns and social media influence, then this lawsuit threatens to blow the lid off something even bigger: how reputation is weaponized in the entertainment industry. It also raises massive questions about the future of digital media. Did creators unknowingly participate in a smear campaign? Were they manipulated into pushing narratives without knowing who was behind them? And what happens now that subpoenas have shown that celebrities are willing to dig into creators' private lives to trace those narratives back to the source? The line between criticism and defamation is already blurry.
Is Baldoni going to have a career after this? After this is all done, what happens to Baldoni's career? Do you think this hurts him?
This lawsuit might redraw it completely. And for Blake, this case could determine more than just justice. It could determine her legacy. Because if she loses, the story becomes about overreaction and legal overreach. But if she wins, it might expose a playbook that powerful people have been using for years. Despite pulling back the subpoenas from a few creators, Blake Lively made one thing crystal clear: she's not done. her legal team released a sharp follow-up statement confirming that while the subpoenas to individual content creators were withdrawn, the broader investigation is still fully underway. The message was subtle but unmistakable.
We have another crew member that's speaking out against Blake Lively, claiming she took advantage of Justin Baldoni.
We're still watching and we're still digging. And that's when people realize this wasn't a retreat, it was a recalibration. Blake's lawyers are now laser focused on building their case against Justin Baldoni and his associates at Wayfarer Studios. They're claiming he didn't just cross boundaries during filming, he used his influence to weaponize an entire public narrative. And that means more subpoenas could come. More names might surface, and more questions about who knew what and when could rise to the surface. Meanwhile, Justin continues to deny all wrongdoing. He hasn't made many public statements, but sources close to him suggest he's preparing for a long, drawn-out battle. One where reputation, career, and personal brand are all on the line.
So apparently Blake Lively knows that I just genuinely dislike her. And why I say that is I've had over 5 million views from my Justin Baldoni.
And it's not just a private matter anymore. This lawsuit has started pulling back the curtain on how conflict in Hollywood is managed in the age of social media. It's not just about press releases and interviews anymore. It's about TikTok clips, YouTube reactions, viral rumors, and coordinated online narratives. In an era where perception is currency, whoever controls the story controls everything. Blake's latest legal filings suggest she's not just out to win, she's out to expose. And that means more revelations could be coming. Bigger names, tighter connections, maybe even proof that the creators she subpoenaed weren't just randomly posting.
I grabbed yours because it is scary. This is a scary thing. I think that
they were part of something much more orchestrated than anyone thought. And through it all, fans are split. Some believe Blake's fighting for her truth, finally refusing to stay silent in a system that protects powerful men. Others see this as a dangerous overreach, one that threatens the line between criticism and censorship. But whether you believe Blake is the victim of a smear campaign or the architect of a legal overstep, one thing is certain. This isn't just about one lawsuit. It's about how far someone will go when they believe their entire legacy is at stake. What started as a few legal documents quietly sent to content creators has unraveled into one of the most unexpected and unsettling stories in Hollywood right now.
On the 16 content creators, me being one of them. Will say this, I am not fully convinced at this point.
Blake Lively, long considered untouchable in the world of celebrity drama, is now at the center of a legal storm involving secret subpoenas, disturbing allegations, and a battle that could reshape how power and image are controlled in the industry. We've seen creators blindsided, accusations of behind-the-scenes retaliation, and a private deposition that turned into a silent showdown between two stars who were supposed to be allies. But underneath it all is a much bigger question. When a public image starts to crack, how far will people go to protect or destroy it? Blake says she's standing up against harassment and manipulation. Justin says he's being falsely accused.
So somebody is trying to anonymously file a motion to quash the Google subpoena, and the judge is not happy.
And somewhere in between is the truth, buried under sealed court documents, filtered Instagram posts, and anonymous whispers online. What's clear now is that this case is no longer just a celebrity dispute. It's a mirror reflecting something much bigger. How stories are controlled, how silence is bought, and how the internet has become a weapon in battles we can't always see. Whether Blake comes out vindicated or criticized, this moment will leave a mark. Because no matter who's right, the way we talk about power, privacy, and public image will never be the same again. And something tells me we haven't heard the last of it.